But also the Queen of Sheba, when the fame of Solomon was heard, came in the name of the Lord to assay him in dark and doubtful questions. And she entered with much fellowship and riches into Jerusalem, and with camels bearing sweet-smelling things, and gold greatly without number, and precious stones. And she came to King Solomon, and spake to him all things which she had in her heart. And Solomon taught her all words which she had put forth. No word was that might be hid from the king, and which he answered not to her. And the Queen of Sheba saw all the wisdom of Solomon, and the house that he had builded, and the meats of his table, and the dwelling places of his servants, and the orders of the men serving him, and the clothes of them, and butlers, and the burnt sacrifices which he offered in the house of the Lord. And she had no more spirit. And she said to the king, The word is true, that I heard in my land, of thy words, and of thy wisdom. And I believe not to tell men telling to me, till I myself came, and saw with mine eyes, and proved that the half part was not told to me. Thy wisdom is more, and thy works, than the fame that I heard. Than the fame that I heard. Thy men be blessed, and thy servants be blessed, these that stand before thee ever, and hear thy wisdom. Blessed be thy Lord God, whom thou pleasest, and hath set thee on the throne of Israel. For the Lord loved Israel without end, and hath ordained thee king, that thou shouldest do doom and rightfulness. Therefore she gave to the king 60 talents of gold, and full many sweet-smelling things, and precious stones. So many sweet-smelling things were no more brought, as those which the Queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon, but also the ships of Hiram, that brought gold from Ophir, brought from Ophir full many trees of thyine, and precious stones. And King Solomon made of the trees of that thyine undersettings of the house of the Lord, and of the king's house, and harps, and sittles to singers. Such trees of thyine were not brought there, neither seen again, till into this present day. Swiftly King Solomon gave to the Queen of Sheba all things which she would have and asked of him, besides these things which he had given to her by the king's gift willfully. And she turned again and went into her land with her servants. Forsooth the weight of gold that was offered to Solomon by each year was of 660 talents of gold, besides that which the men that were on the tollages, that is, rents of things borne about in the land, and that merchants and all men selling shields, and all the kings of Arabia and the dukes of the land gave. And King Solomon made 200 shields of purest gold. He gave 600 shekels of gold into the plates of one shield. And he made 300 bucklers of proved gold. 300 talents of gold covered one buckler. And the king put those bucklers in the house of the forest of Lebanon. Also King Solomon made a great throne of ivory, and covered it with full fine gold. And the throne had 6 degrees, and the highness of the throne was round in the hinder part, and 2 hands were on this side and on that side, holding the seat, and 2 lions stood beside each hand, and 12 little lions standing on 6 degrees, on this side and on that side. Such a work was not made in all realms, but also all the vessels of which King Solomon drank were of gold, and all the appurtenance of the house of the forest of Lebanon was of purest gold. Silver was not used at all, neither it was reckoned of any price in the days of Solomon. For the ships of the king went once by 3 years with the ships of Hiram into Tarshish, and brought from thence gold and silver, and teeth of elephants, and apes, and peacocks. Therefore King Solomon was magnified above all kings of earth in riches and wisdom. And all earth desired to see the cheer of Solomon, to hear the wisdom of him, which wisdom God had given in his heart. And all men brought gifts to him, vessels of gold and of silver, clothes and armors of battle, and sweet-smelling things, and horses and mules by each year. And Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen, and 1,400 chariots were made to him, and 12,000 horsemen, and he disposed them by strengthened cities, and with the king in Jerusalem. And he made that so great abundance of silver was in Jerusalem, how great was also of stones. And he gave the multitude of cedars of sycamores that grow in field places. And the horses of Solomon were led out of Egypt and of Koa. For the merchants of the king brought them of Koa, and brought them to him for price ordained. For a chariot went out of Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and an horse for 150 shekels. And by this manner all the kings of Hittites and of Syria sold horses.